You were never created to be common. You were created to be valuable. But the problem with many people is they confuse being nice with being available. Your value doesn't come from how many people know your name, how many followers you have, or how much attention you can get. Your value comes from living on purpose. There's a difference between being popular and being purposeful. Popularity fades, but purpose builds legacies. When you understand why you were created and you start walking in that assignment, you no longer chase validation, you create transformation. Most people spend their lives trying to be liked by everyone, but in the process, they lose the very essence that makes them powerful. The truth is, people who try to please everyone usually end up pleasing no one, not even themselves. Purpose gives you clarity. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. When you know your value, you stop wasting energy explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand your vision. You realize your time is your seed, and where you plant it determines what you harvest. Every moment you spend trying to be seen by the crowd is a moment you could have spent growing your character, sharpening your skills, and building your destiny. People often mistake visibility for value. They think being noticed means being important. But being seen doesn't make you significant. Purpose does. Think about a diamond buried deep in the ground. It's unseen for years, but its worth never changes. The diamond's value doesn't depend on exposure, it depends on composition. The same is true for you. Even when no one is clapping, even when no one sees the work you're putting in, your value is not decreasing. You're being shaped, refined, and prepared for a moment where your purpose will meet opportunity. When you understand your purpose, you stop comparing your process to someone else's highlight reel. You realize that value is not about speed, it's about substance. Some people rise quickly and fall even faster because their fame outgrew their foundation. But a person walking in purpose takes their time building depth, character, and spiritual strength. Purpose doesn't rush, it refines. It builds something inside you that can handle the weight of greatness. Living with purpose changes how you show up in every area of life. You stop doing things just to be noticed, and you start doing things to make an impact. You speak with intention, you serve with integrity, and you create from conviction. Your actions stop being random. They become results-driven. You start understanding that every decision either adds to or subtracts from your value. When you operate with purpose, even your silence carries weight, because your presence alone communicates excellence. People with purpose don't need to convince others of their worth. Their work speaks for them. When you walk in excellence, people will notice without you begging for attention. You don't need to announce your value. The fruit of your purpose will reveal it. But it all begins when you stop measuring yourself by the world's standards and start living according to divine design. The moment you realize you were created with intention, you begin to walk differently. You no longer compete, you create. You no longer beg, you build. You no longer run after approval, you attract alignment. Purpose-centered living turns confusion into clarity and distraction into direction. It eliminates the noise of insecurity and amplifies the voice of destiny. When you stop living to be seen and start living to serve your purpose, your value becomes undeniable. You'll no longer have to chase people because people are drawn to clarity, confidence, and conviction. That's what makes you valuable, not the number of people who see you, but the depth of purpose you carry within you. Busy doesn't automatically mean productive, and productive doesn't automatically mean purposeful. Most people confuse movement with progress, action with achievement, and activity with significance. You can fill your day with meetings, messages, and tasks, yet at the end of the day, feel empty because nothing you did actually moved you closer to your calling. Purpose is the difference between floating down a river and cutting through steel with a laser. One drifts along with the current, reacting to whatever comes your way. The other slices through obstacles, unshaken, unstoppable, and directed. Understanding this difference is the key to transforming your life from chaos into impact. Activity without purpose is exhausting. It leaves you scattered, distracted, and frustrated. You wake up thinking you're making progress, only to realize at night that you've been busy with things that don't matter. Every person has 24 hours, but not everyone uses them wisely. The difference lies not in time, but in alignment. When you know your purpose, every task you undertake becomes intentional. Every effort has a direction. You're no longer working for the sake of being seen. You're working because your actions are building towards something meaningful. That's why purpose separates ordinary from extraordinary. Purpose also creates resilience. When challenges arise, and they will, those without purpose give up, lose focus, or get sidetracked. But those who are driven by a clear vision understand that every obstacle is temporary and every delay has a lesson. A river can be blocked by a log or diverted by debris, but a laser keeps its focus. It doesn't bend or lose energy because it knows exactly where it's going. Purpose gives you that same unshakable focus in life. It allows you to stay on course even when the world around you is chaotic or discouraging. Another element of purpose is clarity. When you live with purpose, your decisions become easier, your priorities sharper, and your energy more efficient. You no longer say yes to every opportunity, every request, or every distraction. You begin to recognize what aligns with your vision and what doesn't. Your calendar, your commitments, and even your conversations are filtered through the lens of significance. This clarity prevents wasted energy, reduces stress, and amplifies the impact of every action you take. When you know where you're going, everything you do contributes to momentum, not noise. Purpose also elevates your mindset. People who work without purpose often measure success by external factors like recognition or temporary praise. Those who act with purpose measure success by impact, growth, and contribution. You begin to understand that your life is not about being everywhere, doing everything, or being noticed by all. It's about being in the right place, doing the right things, and creating value that lasts. Purpose transforms mundane tasks into steps toward legacy, turns struggles into lessons, and converts effort into fulfillment. Finally, purpose multiplies results. Two people can work the same number of hours, but the one who works with focus and intention will accomplish exponentially more. The river drifts and covers distance slowly, often going in the wrong direction. The laser penetrates, destroys obstacles, and reaches the target with precision. When you align your daily actions with your ultimate purpose, you magnify every effort. Even small steps become significant because they are deliberate, targeted, and designed to compound over time. Living without purpose is like running on a treadmill. You move, but you never get anywhere. Living with purpose is like steering a ship toward a destination. You face challenges, storms, and detours, but every action brings you closer to the shore you're meant to reach. Purpose separates activity from achievement, effort from impact, and ordinary from extraordinary. It is the difference between being busy and being productive, between surviving and thriving. When you understand the power of purpose, your life stops being a collection of random tasks and becomes a journey of intentional, meaningful progress. When it comes to living a life of impact, understanding the value of boundaries is essential. Boundaries are not walls meant to isolate you. They are gates that protect your time, your energy, and your peace. Without them, you risk giving away your life to things that do not serve your purpose, leaving nothing left for what truly matters. Many people make the mistake of believing that being available to everyone is a sign of kindness, loyalty, or success, but in reality, it often signals a lack of self-respect and clarity. Every time you say yes to someone or something that doesn't align with your purpose, you pay a price, and that price is often invisible until it's too late. Time spent on distractions is time stolen from destiny. Boundaries are the framework that allow you to operate at your highest level. They protect your energy from being drained by negativity, unnecessary demands, and the agendas of others. Imagine a sponge that is constantly being squeezed by every person who comes near it. Eventually, it can no longer absorb water. It becomes dry and ineffective. That is what happens when you make yourself too available. People begin to take for granted your attention, your guidance, and your presence. They stop appreciating your value because it's offered freely and without discretion. But when you set boundaries, you create a sense of scarcity, and scarcity commands respect. Setting boundaries requires courage. It is not easy to say no when someone asks for your time, favors, or energy. It may feel uncomfortable at first because you fear rejection or conflict. Yet, every time you honor your own limits, you teach others how to treat you. You communicate without words that your time is sacred, your focus is deliberate, and your contributions are not to be taken lightly. The people who truly matter, those aligned with your purpose, will respect and even admire your discipline. Those who don't are revealing who they are, and in that revelation, you gain clarity about where to invest your energy. Boundaries also protect your relationships and your productivity. When you are constantly stretched thin, you cannot show up fully in any area of life. Your work suffers, your personal relationships weaken, and your spiritual or emotional health declines. By defining your limits, you ensure that the time and energy you devote are meaningful, concentrated, and effective. This is not selfishness, it is stewardship. You are stewarding your life, your gifts, and your potential. Every yes given indiscriminately dilutes your impact, but every intentional yes amplifies it. It is important to recognize that boundaries are not static, they evolve as you grow. What may have been acceptable yesterday may no longer serve your growth today. As your value increases, so must your standards for where you invest yourself. People, projects, and opportunities that once seemed important may become distractions in the pursuit of greater alignment with your purpose. Learning to reassess your boundaries regularly ensures that your life remains focused on what truly matters. Ultimately, boundaries are about freedom, freedom to create, to grow, and to fulfill your calling without compromise. They give you the space to develop your skills, to cultivate meaningful relationships, and to pursue opportunities that multiply your impact. Protecting your time and energy is not about being rigid or unapproachable. It is about recognizing that what you offer is precious and finite. By controlling access to your life, you ensure that your efforts are channeled into what will produce the greatest return, not only in wealth or success, but in significance and fulfillment. When you embrace boundaries, you reclaim control of your destiny. You stop giving away what is irreplaceable and begin investing in what is valuable. You learn to focus on the right people, the right projects, and the right goals. Your life stops being a reaction to the demands of others and becomes a deliberate pursuit of purpose. In this way, boundaries are not limitations. They are the instruments of empowerment that allow you to live fully, work effectively, and create a legacy that matters. Focus is one of the most underrated yet most powerful tools for achieving success and living a meaningful life. Many people spend their days scattered, jumping from one task to another, responding to every notification, and trying to be everywhere at once. They mistake business for progress, but business without focus is just noise. Focus is what transforms effort into results, chaos into clarity, and potential into achievement. Without focus, your time, energy, and talents are diluted, and even your most significant efforts can fail to create impact. Just like a laser beam cuts through steel because it concentrates light in one direction, your life can only cut through challenges when your energy is concentrated on the things that truly matter. The first step to harnessing focus is recognizing the cost of distraction. Every time you divide your attention, you lose momentum. Every time you give in to interruption, your mind drifts, your energy dissipates, and your progress slows. The modern world, with its endless notifications, constant demands, and seductive temptations, makes distraction inevitable unless you are intentional. But intentionality is exactly what separates the successful from the average. Those who achieve greatness understand that focus is not just a skill, it is a discipline, a choice to say no to everything that does not align with your purpose. Focus also requires clarity. You cannot pour energy into a target you cannot see. Many people struggle because they are unclear about what truly matters to them, and so they scatter their efforts across many directions. When you clarify your priorities, you can concentrate your resources on the areas that produce the greatest results. Clarity allows you to distinguish between urgent tasks and important tasks, between fleeting opportunities and long-term investments. Without clarity, focus becomes impossible and effort becomes wasted. But with clarity, every action becomes purposeful, and every decision contributes to the larger picture of your life. Another aspect of focus is persistence. Focus is not just about choosing where to aim, it is about maintaining that aim despite obstacles, distractions, or delays. Life will always try to pull your attention away. Challenges, criticism, and competing demands will constantly demand your energy. But when you maintain focus, you do not react to every external stimulus. You stay anchored in your vision and move forward steadily. The river can be blocked or diverted, but the laser remains precise. Your life works the same way. The more you cultivate persistence, the more your focused energy produces exponential results. Focus is also about protecting your energy. Your attention is your most valuable currency. If you give it away indiscriminately, you weaken your ability to achieve what truly matters. Every unnecessary meeting, every meaningless conversation, every trivial distraction chips away at your capacity to create value. Protecting your focus means setting boundaries, saying no to minor distractions, and prioritizing what will move the needle. It is not selfish, it is strategic. By conserving your energy for what aligns with your purpose, you multiply the effectiveness of every action you take. Finally, focus magnifies your influence and impact. When you concentrate your efforts on a clear target, your work becomes precise, powerful, and transformative. People notice results because focused energy produces excellence. Dispersed energy produces mediocrity. Concentrated energy produces mastery. Your skills improve faster, your decisions become wiser, and your results become undeniable. Focus allows you to become a person of significance because you are no longer reacting to life. You are creating life according to your intention and purpose. In the end, focus is the bridge between potential and achievement. It turns scattered effort into meaningful progress and transforms ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. Without focus, even talent, resources, and hard work can be wasted. With focus, even small steps compound into monumental success. Focus is not just a strategy, it is a lifestyle, a way of aligning your energy, your time, and your vision so that your life produces results that are both powerful and lasting. When you master focus, you move from being busy to being purposeful, from being distracted to being decisive, and from being ordinary to being exceptional. Value attracts value. It is one of the most consistent principles of success and influence, yet it is often misunderstood or overlooked. Many people spend their lives chasing attention, approval, or opportunities, thinking that if they simply show up or make themselves available, things will come to them. The truth is that the world responds not to visibility but to worth. When you cultivate genuine value through skill, character, discipline, and excellence, the right people, opportunities, and resources are naturally drawn to you. This principle is universal. Gold does not search for buyers, buyers search for gold. The same is true for people who carry purpose, talent, and integrity. Creating value begins with self-investment. You must prioritize growth, whether that growth is intellectual, spiritual, emotional, or professional. The person who stops learning or stops improving becomes stagnant. The person who invests in themselves becomes magnetic. Every skill you sharpen, every habit you cultivate, and every standard you raise increases the worth of your life and amplifies your influence. People are drawn to those who are moving forward, who are mastering their craft, and who operate at a higher level. Value is contagious. The more you embody it, the more the world recognizes it and responds to it. Discipline is another cornerstone of value. Without discipline, talent and potential are wasted. Value is not merely a product of innate ability, it is a product of consistent effort over time. People who consistently show up, who honor their commitments, and who maintain high standards are respected and sought after. Their reliability and excellence create trust, and trust is one of the most powerful magnets in human relationships. Opportunities do not come to those who are inconsistent. They come to those who demonstrate that their presence matters, that their time is invested wisely, and that their contributions have weight. Another essential element of value is integrity. People are drawn to those who are trustworthy, ethical, and dependable. You can have the best skills in the world, but without integrity, influence is temporary. Value anchored in character has permanence. Those who consistently act with honesty, fairness, and respect build reputations that open doors automatically. When people see someone who embodies principles, they instinctively want to align with them. The credibility you build through integrity ensures that your worth is recognized, respected, and sought after, regardless of trends or circumstances. Generosity and contribution also enhance value. When you give your knowledge, your time, or your resources in a way that genuinely benefits others, you increase your significance. People are naturally attracted to those who can help, inspire, or uplift. But generosity without strategy can dilute your impact. True value comes from giving wisely to the right people in the right way at the right time. This creates a cycle where your contributions increase your worth, and your worth attracts even greater opportunities to serve and grow. Finally, value attracts value because it creates leverage. When you develop skills, knowledge, influence, and character, you gain the power to negotiate, choose, and direct your life. You are no longer dependent on random opportunities or the approval of others. Instead, people and opportunities seek you out because they recognize your potential to produce results. This principle applies in relationships, business, and every area of life. Those who carry real value are the ones who command respect, attention, and opportunity naturally. In the end, the law of value is simple but profound. The more you grow, the more you refine your skills, the more you uphold integrity, and the more strategically you contribute, the more the world will respond to you. You do not have to chase people, positions, or opportunities. When your life embodies value, they will seek you. This is why the most successful, influential, and respected individuals are often those who invest quietly in themselves, while the world eventually comes to recognize and pursue them. Value attracts value, and those who understand this principle live lives that are both impactful and inevitable. Protecting your energy is one of the most critical, yet most overlooked principles for achieving success and living a meaningful life. Every yes you give, every task you take on, and every person you allow into your inner circle costs you something: time, focus, peace, or emotional strength. Many people move through life giving freely of themselves without discernment, believing that constant availability is a sign of generosity, loyalty, or ambition. Yet in reality, when you give indiscriminately, you dilute your effectiveness and leave little left for the pursuits and people that truly matter. Every moment spent on distractions is a moment stolen from destiny, and every ounce of energy spent in the wrong place reduces your capacity to produce extraordinary results. The first step to protecting your energy is awareness. You must recognize that your time, attention, and mental focus are finite resources. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot create or lead at your highest level if your energy is being drained by misaligned commitments. Every engagement request or task should be evaluated based on its alignment with your goals, your purpose, and your values. This requires discipline and courage because it often means saying no to people or opportunities that are comfortable or socially expected. But saying no is not rejection, it is self-respect, and it is the first step toward preserving the resources necessary for impact. Boundaries are the tool through which you protect your energy. They act as filters, separating what is beneficial from what is draining, what advances your purpose from what distracts from it. Without boundaries, you are constantly reacting to the demands of others, scattered and ineffective. With boundaries, your life becomes intentional. You decide where your energy goes, how it is spent, and who receives it. Boundaries create a space for focus, clarity, and productivity. They are not barriers designed to isolate. They are instruments of empowerment that allow you to operate at your best. Another vital aspect of protecting your energy is prioritization. Not every opportunity, relationship, or task deserves your full investment. You must identify what will produce the greatest returns, both in terms of personal growth and impact, and direct your energy there. This means learning to walk away from what is convenient but unproductive, popular but shallow, or urgent but misaligned. By prioritizing your energy, you amplify your results, increase your influence, and ensure that your efforts contribute meaningfully to your long-term goals. Protecting your energy also requires self-care. High-performing, purpose-driven individuals understand that rest, reflection, and renewal are not optional. They are essential. You cannot sustain influence, creativity, or discipline if your mind and body are depleted. Investing in recovery, mindfulness, and mental clarity strengthens your capacity to make decisions, solve problems, and lead effectively. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is strategic. It is about creating the conditions in which you can operate at your highest level consistently. Finally, protecting your energy safeguards your destiny. Every distraction, every misaligned commitment, every person who drains your focus can pull you off course if unchecked. By intentionally managing where you invest your energy, you ensure that your life aligns with your calling. The wrong yes can set you back. The right no can propel you forward. Those who guard their energy are not only more effective, they are more resilient, more focused, and more capable of achieving greatness. They understand that every moment, every decision, and every interaction either adds to their legacy or diminishes it. When you commit to protecting your energy, you reclaim control over your life. You stop reacting to the demands of others and start acting in alignment with your purpose. You create space for growth, for focus, and for meaningful achievement. You conserve your resources for what truly matters, and in doing so, you position yourself to live a life of intentional impact. Protect your energy, and you protect your destiny, because everything of value in your life requires the strength, clarity, and focus that only protected energy can provide. So today, make a decision not just to be seen, but to be significant. Don't strive to be popular, strive to be powerful. Don't aim to be liked, aim to be valuable. Because when you live as someone who knows their worth, the world will have no choice but to recognize it.